Hey folks, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as a thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, we got to start by taking a look at the price of Bitcoin. It's still continuing to chop sideways, consolidating here. We're waiting for that big breakout. And I know I've been saying this for the past few weeks, but we got to be patient. You really have to be patient. We're seeing the setup here from the macro on-chain chart analysis for the next explosive move. And as you know, we are still in a bull market. That thesis has not been invalidated. But I did want to highlight a few things here. One from Blockchain Backer, who's a great analyst. Also, he's been calling for patience that the chop, the consolidation, the boring aspect of this is the process of setting us up for the next explosive move. He said, new week, same bull. Just a waiting game for the breakout outside of Bitcoin acting like this multiple times prior. Here is an example of even gold to see how these ranges behave, ABCs, consolidations, and breakouts. So he gave the example with the gold chart that it went through the same patterns using Elliott wave with corrections, ABC corrections, consolidation, and the setup for the next move. We are right there, folks. And I know when I say that, some people may think, oh, tomorrow or the next day, but we have to treat it as a range. So we got to look at it from several weeks to months and so forth. But I think we're going to see a move this month, honestly. I don't think this type of chop continues into August. I think we see the explosive move. One of the things we've been talking about is this may be a local top before the ultimate blow-off top come late Q3 or Q4. Maybe it even bleeds into 2026. One of the macro catalysts I was highlighting is that the government, US government, is going to pass market structure bill in September. So that could be a catalyst to drive people into the market, right? They buy the rumor, sell the news event. Oh, look, Congress is about to pass market structure bill. This is going to, create the next boom in the economy and much more. And then people start coming into the market, right? There's a narrative. So these are the things we have to pay attention to. But nevertheless, the move is going to come. We just got to be patient. The other factor is that global M2 continues to rise. So global liquidity and Bitcoin seems to be in what's called a Wyckoff accumulation phase. So this being the accumulation phase before the next big move. So you can see here, once again, that macro on-chain chart analysis, different things are aligning here. And a lot of people are calling for 120K plus in this next move. Obviously, nothing is guaranteed here, but there is a high probability given all the factors I just listed. Now, some folks are seeing activity from XRP specifically, and you may say, well, doesn't Bitcoin lead the market? Yes, it does. But what we've seen as far as altcoins in late Q4 of last year, XRP started following Bitcoin closely. It became one of the altcoins that was leading the pack. And we saw in 2023 into early 2024, that was Solana, right? If you remember your history and your charts here, it was Solana that was leading the pack, getting a lot of liquidity right behind Bitcoin. Well, that flipped to XRP. So XRP started moving on this chart right now. Nothing to call home about, but we're seeing upward movement. And both Crypto Wizard and Crypto and all these guys started seeing the breakout here. So as mentioned, we're seeing life. And now if you look at the daily chart for XRP, you can see it's knocking at the door of getting back above the 200-day moving average. And if you've been following this podcast, if we are above the 200-day moving average, it's bull market. If we are below and we're in a downtrend, that's bear market, right? So great to see that even though it dipped below, it's about to break through the 200-day moving average again. It was sitting above that comfortably, but obviously we had a correction, sideways chop. But XRP held up really strong compared to other alts, even in the tariff sell-off and much more. I mean, you just look at it; it's pretty much been moving sideways for the past couple months, and it's going to move, guys. So again, patience is the key. And here is a macro factor that may allow the markets to continue. You see everything in alignment. The White House said they will sign an executive order delaying the July deadline for tariffs to August 1st. So you see what's happening here, right? Crypto legislation timeline, the charts, global liquidity, on-chain data with whales not selling, but they're accumulating. The White House pushing back tariffs. all of the things that are needed for the continuation. And we've been, of course, looking at the stock market as well, where the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, and much more have been breaking out to new highs after V-shaped recovery. Now, the S&P 500 and Nasdaq, they're both in the overbought zone, so you could see some cooling down, but you can see the new highs have been set. And even if we pull back a few percentage points, we're going to keep going because the global liquidity is showing us the path forward. So hope you guys see how all of these things are correlated and why it's important to look at all the puzzle pieces so you see the picture clearly, you get a better lay of the land. Folks, quick word from our sponsor, and that is VeChain. VeChain is one of the top layer one enterprise blockchains out there. I've been a VET token holder since 2018. I'm bullish on this project. Many companies and enterprises globally are using VeChain to build Web3 technology. Some of the key attributes of the VeChain blockchain includes it's secure, affordable, scalable, fast, and sustainable. Some of the companies working with VeChain includes Givenchy, Walmart, China, BMW, PwC, Boston Consulting Group, and many more. They are also partnered with Dana White and the UFC, doing some really cool things. Recently, Dana White came out and said, I bought millions of dollars in the VET token. I'm bullish on this project. So you can see this project is getting a lot of visibility, a lot of adoption. Now, Masari Crypto recently put out some information about VeChain. In fact, it was just this past week. They do a lot of research and analytics about different projects. They said VeChain is the real world L1. It's burning 100% of gas, introducing NFT-based delegator staking, which is about over 9% APY, and laying the rails for weighted DPoS plus JSON RPC. So they put out a full report on this that you guys can check out. So VeChain doing a lot. So if you'd like to learn more about VeChain, go to vechain.org. Link will be in the description. Now, folks, check this news out. This Wednesday, there is a Senate hearing on crypto, and Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse will be in attendance. He will be speaking, in fact. So here's what he tweeted out. I am honored to be invited to testify in front of the Senate Banking Committee this Wednesday on the need for passing crypto market structure legislation. Thank you to the Banking GOP Chairman, Senator Tim Scott, Senator Lummis, and Senator Ruben Gallego as leaders of the Subcommittee for Digital Assets. Your leadership, both with this hearing and over the years in championing the crypto industry, has been critical to getting us to this important moment. Constructive crypto market structure legislation in the U.S. is imperative in bringing about a new era of innovation and financial opportunity while protecting consumers. So this should be interesting. I'm curious to see what Brad has to say. But look, crypto legislation is on the cusp of passing here, folks. We got stablecoin legislation, which will be I hopefully pass next week in the House, and it will go straight to Trump. I'm interviewing Congressman French Hill tomorrow, who is the chairman of the House Financial Services Committee, who's hosting that Crypto Week, banner, so to speak, in the House. And of course, they're going to review the Clarity Act, which is the market structure bill. But then once it passes the House, it will go to the Senate, and then they're going to pass possibly the anti-CBDC bill as well. So I'm going to ask him questions about all these things. So make sure you got the notifications bell enabled, because that interview should be published either Wednesday or Thursday. I'll try to get it out to you guys as soon as possible. Now, this is some very interesting news coming out from Avalanche, which its native token is AVAX. John Woo of Ava Labs said today the Detroit Pistons, that's an NBA team, many of you know I'm a big NBA fan, announced their new fan engagement program, Pistons Rewards, in partnership with UpTop, powered by AVAX. So UpTops is a next generation loyalty / reward solution. Similar to the program UpTop and Avalanche built for the Cleveland Cavaliers, which is another NBA team, Detroit fans can now earn loyalty points on everyday purchases like grocery stores, restaurants, and more. Leveraging blockchain for loyalty unlocks new data, revenue, and deeper fan connection. Detroit's always done things its own way. This time, it's rewriting fan engagement on chain. Folks, as I've been saying, blockchain rails will power the future of the markets, economies, and governments. This is huge adoption news. You're going to see different industries and sectors such as sports, such as music and movies and entertainment and so forth, all adopt blockchain in one way or the other. In tokenizing, different aspects of their business, they'll be able to have a better relationship with fans and be able to give you more equity, so to speak, more access to things. and new creative ways for you to participate and earn. And obviously, it benefits them as well. So the future is going to be transacted in a much more intimate way because of the blockchain, folks. So this is really great news. Now, moving ahead, Reuters confirms the SEC is working on creating a full framework to streamline approval of spot crypto ETFs. So many of you know there's the XRP spot ETFs, Solana spot ETFs, and a bunch of others on the SEC's desk, so to speak, right, waiting for approval. So it looks like the SEC trying to put some framework here, some guardrails and infrastructure to get that done. Here's a quote: "The SEC is looking for a general rule it can apply to all listings and currently is going back and forth on precise wording with the exchanges." One important note, some issuers don't believe this framework will be fully implemented until early fall. So no spot crypto ETFs approval until then. We'll have to wait and see. But if this is indeed the timeline, what does it align with? Possibly to blow off top, right? Because if it doesn't happen in July, well, we are in July or August, it means it will most likely happen in the fall because the deadline's in October. So going back to the timeline, right, and all the factors I've been laying out with Congress passing the market structure bill, because David Sachs gave the timeline that it will happen in September. The SEC won't get the approval for the spot ETFs until the fall, right? So maybe that's early October. Plus, Trump keeps pushing back the tariffs. You see what I'm saying here, right? I hope you see how all these things are aligning into a certain blow off top zone. Let's see. We'll watch it closely, but this is interesting. This is also good news here. The U.S. government drops its appeal in the Tornado Cash lawsuit. So we know that under Biden, Elizabeth Warren and her cronies attacked Tornado Cash and many other crypto companies unfairly. So great to see that they're letting off Tornado and, it's not persecuting the founders and the platforms, but you have to go after the bad actors, not the platform and the entrepreneur that created the platform, because the platform could be used for good. Same way other technologies can be used for good, but also bad actors can use it to do bad things. You have to go after the bad actors, but we know that Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler were lobbied by the banking cartel to essentially try to stifle crypto, shut down these companies, but they failed. And now they're trying to catch up, the banks, that is. All right, moving ahead, real estate firm Murano to build a Bitcoin treasury with $500 million equity deal. So the crypto treasury strategy trend continues, folks. We're seeing folks using Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and this is a global movement. So NASDAQ listed Murano Global Investments said it's developing a Bitcoin treasury strategy and considering integrating cryptocurrency into its hotel operations. The company has secured a standby equity purchase agreement worth up to $500 million to primarily invest in Bitcoin. Murano has also joined the Bitcoin-focused industry alliance, Bitcoin for Corporations, and purchased 21 Bitcoin as a treasury asset. Folks, like I've been saying, this trend is not going to die. It's going to continue. Now, that doesn't mean some of these companies won't fail, because you need to make sure you're managing it well. And the probability, the law of averages, what we've seen historically in other markets, not everybody does the right thing. Not everybody's going to manage it well. You're probably going to have some maybe bad things happen in the bear market. I'm not saying I want that to happen. I'm just saying, in studying markets and the history of finances and all the things that have happened, we've seen things along those lines. So let's hope nothing bad happens. But again, when you're using leverage and there comes a bear market, there's going to be a margin call liquidation price, right? So just keep that in the back of your mind. This is why we want to take profits in the greed blow-off phase zone of this market, so we walk away with money in our pockets. Final news item here, venture capital funding tops $2.8 billion in June. So the VCs continue to put money in this market, in both the companies building the infrastructure as well as the tokens. This is a very good sign. This is a sign of the bull market, right? That this amount of capital is coming in. So according to Blockworks research data, there was roughly 2.8 billion raised last month. So the folks at Blockworks said, if you remember from the last time we took a look at this data, VC funding topped off around $594 million in May, a dip from April and quite a decline from March, which saw $2.9 billion in funding. But as you can see from the chart, there's a bit of a recovery here, and that's a very good sign, folks. A lot more liquidity coming in the market. Now, not all this is going to tokens, obviously, but some is, right? These VCs are buying or investing and getting some of the tokens at discounted prices, and some are just wallet companies, exchanges, infrastructure companies, which don't have a token. So I want to make sure you understand the nuance of what's happening here. Folks, that is the news. Let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button. A great way you can support me in the podcast, folks, is by checking out my free email newsletter. It's 100% free on Substack. Also, check out my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital. And my course at mycryptocourse.com. This is a comprehensive course that teaches you every aspect of crypto. Folks, thank you so much for watching and listening. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.